Later on tonight, at 9:30 PM GMT over on the Omegon Plays channel, I shall be streaming some Euro Truck Simulator. If you are at all interested in listening to me waffle on for about 3 hours, while, quote, driving, then please feel free to join me over there. Link to my channel and Twitch, because I stream there as well, down below. Now today I thought we'd have a little bit of fun, kind of, for a bit. Let's see how we get on. We're going to talk about Brie Larson. Now I have no opinion on Captain Marvel. I really don't, because it's a movie. The character, I've got a few Marvel comics, or Captain Marvel comics. She's OP, that's it. Well, a version of her is OP. If that's the same version that featured in the films, okay then. Good luck with the next one, I believe set in the 90s or something. And thankfully Marvel did her justice to an extent in Endgame by not featuring her as much, because I think that would have just ruined the entire Endgame battle. Now, Brie Larson is quite outspoken. She has quite the opinion on diversity. She's gotten herself into hot water. I'm not entirely sure if Marvel or Disney used a PR team to perhaps tell her to tone it down during the press tour for Captain Marvel, where she used her platform to talk heavily about diversity. I did see a no bullshit video where he was talking about her during the interviews for Endgame, and I did notice in those videos that he featured, I couldn't tell if she was getting under the skin of Chris Hemsworth or if Chris Hemsworth was trolling, or they were both trolling because it was funny. I couldn't tell. But I did notice the awkwardness with Jeremy Renner when she indicated she likes to use her platform to push for what she believes, and he just says, I like to go to work. That to me was amusing because she was judging, and that was funny. I don't really care what people do with the platform they have. I generally take the position of I will not force feed what I believe down other people's throats. If I do at all put an opinion in a video, instead of being the typical fence rider that I am, I believe that you should have the right to make those decisions for yourself. And I think that should apply for all walks of life. But I won't begrudge those who want to passionately defend what they believe. Brie Larson's more recent push that has gotten her into a bit of hot water again, or maybe put a bit of a sweat on her brow, rather large brow, but brow nonetheless. I'm not going to attack her appearance, I swear. The rumours of a booty double, I don't care. I really don't. The recent thing that has gotten fans up in arms, I guess, is that she wants more diversity in Hollywood. Now, Thunderfoot did a video on this, where he actually proved, quite well I might add, that actually it wasn't a case that diversity was needed in Hollywood because it actually represented America, in the sense that the percentage of those in main acting roles that were white, and the same for every other major race, were roughly similar in the United States, which tells me that that is diversity, that is achieving a population representation. What Brie though wants, and what a number of other people want, is like an equality, an absolute equality percentage. Let's say you have 3 races in America, there are obviously more, but we have white, black, and Hispanic. Then they must all be represented 40% Hispanic, 40% black, and 20% white. We have to make up for the slavery, yo. Let's start with that. Some directors going so far as to say they won't hire a white person for a lead role. I'm not doing a video on that. But with diversity, it's one of those rather interesting arguments of what kind of representation are we talking? Representation of the population or absolute based on arbitrary factors to have it so that it is just sat with an equal number of white people, black people, and every other race that you can think of in movies. It is rather testing to me that people can't just have the best person do the damn job. But I won't begrudge people who want to hire people based on race. I just won't watch their film unless it is related to a period drama of some kind. I don't care for using race to make a point. Same with gender, same with sexuality, same with faith. And I'm not buying a ticket to watch you discriminate. Okay? So Brie wants more diversity in Hollywood, and as a consequence of that, fans, Marvel fans, number of fans, let's say maybe they're probably not fans actually, decided to create a petition. This petition, what will it do, you ask? Well, it's funny you should ask. It is to have her replaced with a gay woman of colour. Congratulations, Brie. You stuck your own foot in your mouth, and it came back to bite you. Something Brie doesn't quite understand, and I think it's quite an important point to go back to, is about the critics that she went on her press tour for Captain Marvel were mostly male. Reviewers, for example, 63.9% being written by white males, 18.1% white women, and 13.8% underrepresented men and 4.1% underrepresented women. Forgetting here, the target audience has predominantly, for the most part, been men. You're always going to be hard-pressed to get other people to review your content when the target audience is predominantly men. It will always be that way as well. Guys like comics, guys like action movies, for the most part, and that's not me taking a dig at women, but they like other things like, and I'm going to pull this one from the top of a recent conversation, The Princess Bride. It's not the same, unless you're going to now have Captain Marvel do it. And the point is, when you are busy having a moan about people being mostly white doing reviews, critics mostly being white dudes, all the while claiming you are not hating white dudes, you kind of sound a bit weird. Larson did actually openly say that she doesn't hate white dudes. We'll certainly find out when we see who she's married to, or gets married to, or gets in a relationship with, of course. My heart's set on a gay woman of colour for her, because she needs to remove the shackles of whiteness and embrace diversity in all its forms. And the best way to do that, of course, is to kill the white race. She was quoted as saying, if you make the movies that is a love letter to women of colour, there is an insanely low chance a woman of colour will have a chance to see your movie and review your movie. If you're talking about Captain Marvel, not many people who watch those superhero movies care so much about the love story, unless it's established in canon. So I guess we'll just have to make one of you and Squirrel Girl. That could be fun. Oh dear God, don't bring Squirrel Girl into this. Jesus Christ. Oh, that's bad. Just as a final thing for this, because obviously the fan petition is hilarious. I'd love to see where it goes. I would love to see if anyone from Marvel says anything about it, if it gets enough signatures. I would love to see Marvel, perhaps, with protecting their assets. Captain Marvel made $1 billion. It's done well. No one can deny that. It's actually surprising considering the backlash a number of other films have received when stars of the film have been so outspoken like Brie has. But Captain Marvel is a popular comic character, regardless of how strong she is. OP strong, I might add. Perhaps in the second film, removing her powers would maybe make people want to watch her and focus on her acting more. Although I don't know if she has an expression past resting bitch face and angry. Who knows? The point I guess I'm making is, when your actors for your franchises speak out, there is always a danger that they are going to say something that will inevitably cause the fans to not want to be there anymore. With this particular instance, yes, the film did well, but there is going to be obvious inevitable burnout, and people are going to start walking away unless you make the character more compelling. A love story might work for Captain Marvel, it might, and I'm sure there are many who are in fact waiting with bated breath for the day Rogue puts her hand on her, if that's an angle they intend to go when they finally introduce the X-Men. I don't think, to get back on point, it would be a good idea to introduce a love story to Captain Marvel unless it is something they can build upon and something that can be considered believable considering what happened in Captain Marvel to begin with. I'm more likely to believe she'll fall in love with the cat at this point. For Marvel, they should consider talking to the actors that represent their franchises, because these are long-term plans. A 10-year plan for Phase 4, 5 and 6, I'm sure. And they must do something to protect their assets, and that would be their films, not the actors. Because they've replaced them before. It might be an idea to talk to Brie Larson and ask her to tone it down, because while she believes what she believes, she is quite insufferable, I have noticed. And maybe that's a good thing for those who are pushing for what she pushes for, but it doesn't make me want to see Captain Marvel 2 anymore, because force-feeding ideas onto me pushes me away. That applies to everything like I earlier said. Anyway, I'm sorry if this is a ramble. I guess I found something amusing in her talking about wanting diversity and the fans doing what they did. Or haters, I guess they might be called, accurately. If I don't see you tonight over on the Omegon Plays channel or on Twitch, I hope you all have a lovely Friday and subsequent weekend. And thank you all for listening.